Hello, it's Joe with Amalgam, and in this video we're going to give you a full out tour of Amalgam front to back functionality, how to sign up, how to edit, delete transactions all throughout the tool. So I'm just have an open Excel right here. You can see Amalgam open, but we're actually going to go right to the beginning to our website with Amalgam here. So I'm on the Amalgam website, amalgam.me. I'll move my head just slightly so you can see it. If I click the start free trial, you can start populating some information here about your company, and then you'll get 2 weeks for free to start. But I'm just going to go to my login screen. So I'll go here, Joe Amalgam, and nothing like typing your password while recording a video, but I want to show you all the different steps. And so here is your Amalgam app. So this is app.amalgam.me whenever you want to log into that. And then here you can see all the different things, or in this case, integrations that I have. So how Amalgam works is you actually use your own credentials to go ahead and log into those different systems. So here are all the systems I already currently have. You can see I've got the 0 account called ABC Widgets. If I want to add a new integration, I go here. I can search it if I don't see it, if I wanted Stripe, something like that. In this case, I'll do a QuickBooks Online. You'll see here that I can click to kind of redirect. And you'll be familiar with this where if you've ever done any sort of connecting. So I'm already logged into QuickBooks, but normally you'd put in your password, that sort of thing. And then I can select my company. Let's select Amalgam. And then I hit next. And that will make that connection. So that's all I have to do. The beauty of Amalgam is its simplicity. You're using your own credentials to connect to those systems. The beauty also further is that we don't actually store any of the data. We don't have a separate warehouse where we're managing any of your clients' data or your data or things like that. I sort of jokingly say if we ever get hacked, our hackers would be pretty disappointed to just find out how to format Excel reports and templates and things like that. So it's something we're really proud of. We also are compliant with the SOC 2 audit, and that's something that's just on the forefront of our work. We know we have really sensitive data that we're working with. So I've added that QuickBooks, so it's down here that falls in, and you can see all the others that I have as well. Two other things to note here. If I want to change the name, like my company is called ABC Widgets Inc. If I wanted to change the name or just some format here, I could say, okay, maybe I just want ABC Widgets. I can save that, and that can change the name for me. So really helpful when you have a lot of things or you're managing multiple clients. Also, if I ever want to share this with anyone, I can just hit the share button and I can put their email in there and share with them super easily. So that's just simply the app for Amalgam. It allows you to connect to the different systems so that we can then use it within the toolkit that's in Excel or Google Sheets. So let me hop over there. Here's my Excel here. I just have a little cover with a little commercial in our brand here, Amalgam, and you can see the toolkit on the side. If I was opening up for the first time and wanted to download and install Amalgam, all I do is click up here in admins, and then I could search it. It would populate. I click here, and it then populates my my toolbar at the top. So I've got the Amalgam toolbar here at the top, and then when I just click it, it'll populate the toolkit here. You can use it for any Excel sheet, any Google sheet. It's not like some Google Sheets or some Excels are just Amalgam native. It works for everything. So if I want to do something, let's download some data. Let's say let's hit download here. And I have the ability to download data, but also write data. But the simpler is the download. Let's go into our QuickBooks here, and let's just run, let's say, a P&L. We can just run a P&L. So I've got a whole bunch of reports, but I'm just going to run a standard P&L for my company ABC Widgets. And you'll see what will happen here is we'll create a new tab. It's called QBO Profit Loss, and then that company ABC Widgets. So that's just kind of a standard thing. If I had multiple tabs, it would name them appropriately. And then you can see here, I've got these gray cells over to the left, and and these are the things that I would want to populate. So let's just start date, end date. I can just type this in like it's a formula. So 2024, or just like a regular Excel. This is these are just Excel cells here. If I want to do a formula like a today function, I can do that. I can also say, end of month, and I want to do an 18-month time period. I'll just do 18. There we go. I guess that's 19 months in that instance. And then if I want to run it, let's say by accrual basis, if I want my columns to be months, quarters, years, whatever, let's run quarters. If I want to filter by class or other things, I can do that as well. So all I have to do is hit run, and it will run my report. I hit run all here. This is the only thing I have. If I had multiple reports, it would run all of them. But you see it populated pretty quickly. I've got a messy chart of accounts here, so ignore that. It's just my kind of sandbox workspace for ABC widgets. You can see there's not much formatting here. That's on purpose. We like to let everyone kind of do what they want to do. So if you want to format this a certain way or color it or whatever you want to do, you can do that. I also do a lot of where I'll format one kind of cover page and then I'll reference these cells. So every time I update it, it's super easy. And then one thing I also like to point out here is we've got these 10 columns over to the left that are free form. We can edit and delete, write notes, hello, things like that. I can also make calculations. So if I wanted to just randomly do a calculation here, I can do that. Let's just like do that. So there you go. You can see that that's happening there. Now, if I come back here or I want to use this as a template or other people on my team want to use it, I can just reference this all the time. Let's actually say we want to go back to 2023, something like that. Okay, I've got my data here. When I run report, it'll rerun that data, but I don't lose any of the information here. So super clean and easy for us. There you go. That's the simplicity of running a report within Amalgam. So let's use a different use case here. We were able to download a report, and you can see if I hit the plus sign and I go to download, there's a whole set of things I can download from different systems these are the ones I happen to be connected with. Doing a lot with banks and Plaid and things to that nature. But let's do a Stripe report. Let's create a journal entry using Stripe. So similarly, you can see these gray cells populate over here. There are fewer settings for this, just a start and end date for this report. But let's go ahead and run for this year. And then I'll do the today function as well. So you can see I'm through, today is June 7th. If I hit run report, it'll go connect with Stripe and pull it down. So you can see super easy, none of the having to go through and edit or get two-factor code sent to your phone and chase that down or download CSVs. It's all right here really easily. So I've downloaded my data. This is great, but now I want to get it into my general ledger. This case, maybe we'll use a QuickBooks example. So again, I'll hit the plus sign here, but this time I'm going to go to the two-way sync. This is where we're writing data and bringing it down. Okay, so I'm going to write for QuickBooks, and you can see in QuickBooks I have a whole set of things, just like the others. I've got accounts and other non-financial data. So accounts, customers, vendors, I can edit all kinds of things like that. And then also financial transactions, so invoices, journal entries, expenses. I can upload batches of bank data, things to that nature. So let's go ahead and select journal entry for my company ABC widgets, that sandbox that I have. And as this loads, you'll see it'll look a little bit different. I still have some gray columns over to the left, but you'll see I have formatted columns over here as well. So this is actually where I'm entering my information. So I can download and I can edit and delete and things to that nature, but I can also just upload straight up. So I've got a couple extra columns here, which will make sense in a second. But let me show you how to populate a journal entry. So date. Anytime we put a date in, that's going to signify a new journal entry. So let's go ahead and do one for May 31st. Oops, May 31, 2025. And there you go. You can see it says invalid because all I have is a date. I'll have my amounts. We'll pull them in a second. And then description. And then also, if I want other data here, like my customer, vendor, location, things to that nature, class, those are all here for me as well. So let's go ahead and select our accounts. So these accounts are linked directly to that accounting system. So I can't accidentally type in something wrong or call it Joe's account. You'll see if I try to do that, we've got an error. So my account here, I'm going to start with my sales account. And I'll do sales of product income. Great. I will also, because it's Stripe, right? Stripe always has fees, so we'll have to pay some fees. Let's see what we have, commissions. And then what I want to do is I want to send the balance to deferred revenue. So there we go. Deferred revenue. Perfect. And now I can put a description. This will be Joe's tutorial journal. And I can make it different on every line or the same. So I'll just make it the same. And then let's just pick a random customer here. Cyberdyne will be our customer. Great. And now I'm going to pull in the data. But let's look at the data. It's not ready for us to pull in, right? I have my gross amount here, which is great, but these are transactions. These are balanced transactions. I have charges pending and things of that nature that I do and don't want. I don't want necessarily, let's say I don't want refunds or something like that. And I certainly don't want payouts. Payouts are not going to represent the actual revenue. So let's open up our 10 columns that we have to the left. And let's say that this will be, we want our revenue lines and we want our fees pulling in. And we also want date, right? Because this is a date where we want, we pulled multiple months of data. So let's start here. Let's do the end of month again. And we'll select this. Whoops. We actually need an end of month, right? Our revenue is going to be an if statement. If this column, if my type equals payout, we are going to make it 0. But if it's not, we're going to pull in our gross amount. And fees, we're just going to pull the fees because there's no fees on payout, so that will be perfect for us. I'm going to go to the bottom and just copy all of this stuff. And I'm going to format the date because obviously I don't know what the numbers are for a date, and I don't think you do either. So we'll do the short date there. And then we have it. Now I can come over here in my journal and I can make my summation. So I'm going to do a sum if because I'm using the date, right? So my sum range is going to be this date. I'm going to make a criteria is going to be that date, great, and then I'm also going to say that I want to sum up the fees, perfect. So there you go, I've got all my commissions and fees. I'm going to do the same thing for my, I'll do the same thing for my sales, and so I've got that here, and that would be column M, so I'll change it from column O to column N. Let's see what we've got. Which one was it? N to M, sorry. All right, we'll change that to column M. And there we go. We've got that amount there, and then we have it here too. Great. So this is ready to load. You can see on the left here, it recognizes this as new, and that also we want to upload it. But you know what? I forgot to do my April journal entry too. Super easy to do that. I can just copy this, copy the data I have here, and come right over here. Okay, I've got the same date, but you can see here, this is my first journal entry, this is my second journal entry. I'm going to change this date to 4/30/2025. There you go. And you can see my formulas work for me. They updated automatically. These are ready to go. So all I need to do now, I just hit the sync button. I can go ahead and sync these right into QuickBooks. So it's doing checks, it's making sure the debits and credits match, it's making sure if things like AP have vendors associated with it and all that kind of stuff, and then you can see if loaded. I've just loaded 2 journal entries right into QuickBooks. There you go. That's how you do that connection. Now journal entries, like other different types of transactions like invoices and things like that, can all be edited. So if I wanted to look and see, I can do a little download here. Let's just do from like 4/15/2025 into like 6/15/2025. And I'm going to do a download and just see what we have in terms of what's in there. And I just overwrote this with the download, but that would be a great example of if you want to use a common monthly template or something like that. You want to use that template every month, great. Download the data from Stripe, change the dates on this, and you're ready to roll. I really like to link dates to kind of a front page or a cover, things like that. If you look through our resources, you'll see other templates on our website that have that sort of setup where you can change the date on the front or change other global variables and they'll flow through. So now you see a whole bunch of things here, and we should be able to find, here we go, Joe's test tutorial journal. Here's that one right there, and then we've got our other one here for 5/31, Joe's tutorial journal. There you go. Now let's say we made some mistake. Oh, you know what? There actually was a mistake here. Is what we did is that this is actually should be in hundredths. These numbers are too big. So I'm going to make them a little smaller. And there you go. You can see it recognizes the edited and it suggests to upload. So if I hit sync here, it will take that exact transaction and will update it in QuickBooks or whatever. It's NetSuite, it's Sage Intacct, but that's what we're connected to. And you can see I got my successful message here on the bottom right. So that's really a crash course here on sort of how to go through the full process with Amalgam to pull data from Stripe in our instance. We pulled this balance transaction. We were able to manipulate the data a little bit here. If we ever rerun this report, we don't lose that, right? That's still there for us. So it's a really great option where I'm using that from month to month going through. And then we also have elements right here. Now there's one more thing I want to show you. You can edit non-financial data and you notice things kind of mid-flight that aren't really good for you. And so what I want to notice here is the sales of product income, the name is basically off, right? I don't have numbers for this. If I do my drop down, my sales of product income, that's what's in there now. So like, I actually want to change the chart of accounts. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to create a new resource in the accounts resource. And so I'm going to choose this for ABC widgets. And we're going to actually look at and be able to edit the chart of accounts right from there. So again, similar template. We like the consistency. You're seeing this come through. It's loading similarly. The columns are going to be different, obviously, because we're not editing journal entries. We're editing non-financial data. I hit the download button, so it'll populate. You can just straight up add accounts without having to download, but I always like to download to see kind of what's in there. Then you can see it populating for us. And this is my whole chart of accounts. I can change roll-ups, change names, things to that nature. But I just want to show you one functionality where if we change a certain piece of information one place, we can then fix it somewhere else. So we wanted sales of product, right? Whoops, I gotta, here, product. There we go, where is it? Here, we'll find you. Here we go, sales of product income. I actually want to change this name. I just want to call it product sales. There we go. And I also want to give it a number. This can be our 4,010. It's a revenue number. I always like a 4,000 for that. And so you can see it's one edited upload. If I hit sync, it will go ahead and sync that. Okay, great. We've got a success. So then we should see if we go back to our journal entry here, it's not going to automatically populate. But if I do a refresh the drop downs here, I click that, and it should go ahead and refresh for us. So you can change things mid-flight. If you're doing your close process on a particular month, you can see, oh wow, I wanted to change that, or I need a new account, something to that effect. I can go ahead and do that. So it's taking a little second here because I have so many, but my sales of product income, if I go here, there you go, product sales, 4010. That's what it is. It notices I edited it, updated it, and I hit sync, and you're good to go. So that is a real kind of like broad tutorial of Amalgam. There's a whole host of functionalities we have. This is one instance. You can load hundreds of invoices. You can load bank information and have kind of broad years worth of bank information getting loaded in from one worksheet. So it really can integrate with your workflow, the work papers that you already have, things to that nature. It's obviously a super effective tool. And I'm glad you can stick around with me and see some of the functionalities here that we have with Amalgam.